Hello dear students, I am Damandeep Kaur, Assistant Professor, Faculty of Education at the Bhopal School of Social Sciences. In this module, I will discuss about communication models. I know you are already aware about different elements involved in the process of communication. Now, it is important to know what are the learning outcomes of this module. Towards the end, students, you will be able to understand the meaning of communication model. Secondly, you will be able to distinguish various communication models. Lastly, you will admire the contribution of communication theorists for propounding communication models. Let's begin the interesting journey of communication models. What are communication models? Communication models represent the structure and key elements of the communication process. Now, I'll show you the categorization of communication models. Communication models can be categorized under two headings: linear models and interpersonal models. There were various communication theorists and scholars who developed their models. In this module, I will be discussing about Aristotle model, Lasswell model, Shannon-Weaver model, and Burlow model. Under interpersonal model, I will discuss about Trump's model. What do you understand by linear model? In linear model, the process of communication is one way or linear. In this, the speaker speaks and the listener listens. Now, I would like to tell you about Aristotle. He was a Greek philosopher and writer. He was also the teacher of Alexander the Great. Now, I will throw some light on the background of Aristotle's communication model. Aristotle was a keen observer. On the basis of his observation of human behavior during the oral communication, he developed a linear model of communication for oral communication. This is considered as the first model of communication. It was proposed before 300 BC. Now next, these are the essential elements of Aristotle communication model. Speaker, the person who communicates. Speech, the message which is created by the sender or communicator. Audience, the person or group of persons who listen or receive the message. Key features of this model are: it is a speaker-centered model. The speaker plays the active role and he remains active in the process of communication. His role is to deliver a speech to the audience. Audience remains passive in the whole process of communication. Yes, but they get influenced by the speech. In this model, the communication process is one way, that is, from speaker to the receiver. Harold Dwight Lasswell was a leading American political scientist and communication theorist. Now, the background of this model: he conducted the scientific study of the process of communication. On the basis of his findings, he developed the communication model in 1948. Lasswell described the process of communication with the help of some questions. Who says what? In which channel? To whom? With what effect? Here, who refers to the communicator who formulates the message. Says what refers to the message. In mid-channel indicates the medium of transmission. It can be verbal or non-verbal. To whom refers to the receiver of the message. Receiver can be an individual or the audience of mass communication. Effect is the outcome of the message. Now, this is really a distinctive feature where Loswell is talking about the outcome of the message. It means that if speaker is sending the message, and in this case, the message is surely going to create an outcome. So, students, I believe you have observed the movement of the message in this model. So here the message is traveling from the communicator to the audience. Again, it's a one-way process of communication. Now let's know the distinctive features of this model. As we already know about the Aristotle model, so in Loswell model, channel, the medium of transmission, effect, outcome of the message are the two distinctive features. Claude Albert Shannon was an American mathematician and electrical engineer. Warren Weaver was an American mathematician. Now I tell you about the background of this model. Firstly, Shannon was working on this model to improve the technical communication for telephonic communication. It was made to maximize the telephone capacity with minimum noise. Later, Weaver worked on this model to develop effective communication. They presented the mathematical model in 1949. The model became famous as Shannon and Weaver model. Essential elements of Shannon and Weaver model are source, transmitter, channel, receiver, destination, and noise. So, what do we really mean by source here? Source is the person who sends the message. Transmitter, which converts a message into signals for the purpose of transmission. Channel carries signals from transmitter to receiver. Receiver, the machine used to convert the signals into message. Destination, the person to whom the message is sent or the place where the message must reach. This model is focused on process of communication by using electronic and mechanical devices. So let's see what are the distinctive features of this model are. Yes, transmitter, receiver, destination, and lastly, noise. David Kenneth Burlow was an American communication theorist. He had given this model in 1960. The important elements of this model are source, message, channel, and receiver. That's why it is also known as SMCR model. Now, what is the source? Source is the sender who originates the message. The following are the factors related to the sender and is also same in the case of receiver, which affects the process of communication. These are communication skills. Communication skills include the skills to speak, present, read, write, listen, etc. If the sender has good communication skills, the message will be communicated in an effective manner. Next comes knowledge. Knowledge of the subject matter helps the sender to communicate effectively. Social systems. What are social systems? These are values, beliefs, laws, rules, religion. Many other social factors affect the sender's way of communicating the message. Culture. Yes, culture also plays the important role. Cultural differences also affects the message. Attitude. The person's attitude towards self, the receiver, and the environment changes the meaning and effect of the message. The positive attitude of the sender and the receiver creates the effect on the message. Now, what is a message? A message is the substance that is being sent by the sender to the receiver. It might be in the form of voice, audio, text, video, or other media. The key factors affecting the message are content. A message comprises of its content. Elements. It includes language, gestures, and body language, etc. Treatment. Treatment is the way in which the message is conveyed to the receiver. Structure. The structure of the message means how it is arranged or sequenced. Lastly, code. Code is the form in which the message is sent. It might be in the form of language, text, video, etc. Next element is channel. What is the channel here? As per Burlow, channel is the medium used to send the message. In mass communication and other forms of communication, technical machines might be used as a channel, like telephone, internet, etc. But in general communication, the 5 senses of a human being are used as a channel. Hearing. We receive the message through hearing. Seeing. We perceive through seeing. In case of non-verbal message, we try to understand by seeing. Touching. Non-verbal communication happens from touching, like handshakes, holding hands. Smelling. This is strange, yes, but Burlow explained that smelling also plays a vital role. We collect information from smelling. Tasting. Taste also provides the information to be sent as a message. Now the fourth element of Burlow's model, receiver. Receiver is the person who gets the message sent in the process. This model believes that the thinking pattern and all other factors mentioned above must be in sync to that of the sender for the communication to be effective. The message will not produce the same effect as intended if the receiver and sender do not have similarities. The receiver must also have a very good listening skill. Other factors are similar to that of the sender: communication skills, knowledge, social systems, culture, attitudes. The distinctive features of this model are factors related to source and receiver, factors affecting message, and other channels. Now, after knowing about linear models, let's know about interpersonal model. What do you understand by interpersonal model? In this, the process of communication is two-way or circular. And there is also the presence of feedback. Active role is played by the sender and receiver both. William Shrum was an American scholar of mass communications. He published the circular communication model in 1954. The important elements of this model are sender, encode, message, decode, receiver, and feedback. Who is the sender? The person who intends to convey the message with the intention of passing information and ideas to others is known as sender or communicator. Encode. Who encodes the message? Sender encodes the message. It is a process of assembling the message into representative design. Message, as we already know, this is the subject matter of the communication. This may be an opinion, feelings, views, orders, etc. Decode. Who decodes the message? Receiver decodes the message. Receiver tries to understand the message. Receiver. A person who receives the message is known as receiver. Lastly, feedback. It means reaction or responses received from the receiver. Or it also means replying to the message received. The distinctive features of this model are encode, decode, feedback. So in this model, what was the flow of communication? The flow of communication was from sender to receiver, then from receiver to sender. That's why this model is also known as circular model. I hope now you have the clear understanding of communication models. See you in the next module. Thank you.